Imagine you're born into a republic that will, at its height, dominate the entire Mediterranean, from Spain to Syria, from Britain's edge to the sands of Egypt. This is Rome, not the empire of emperors, not yet, but the republic founded in 509 BCE when the Romans drove out their last king and swore never to be ruled by one man again. For nearly 5 centuries, power here belongs to the Senate and to the people. By the late Republic, the Roman census counts over 4 million citizens, and on the farms and in the cities of Italy, roughly 1 in 3 people is enslaved. But Rome isn't a single class, it's a ladder. And depending on where you stand, your life could be a chain in a mine or a throne at the head of the world. Today, we're climbing every rung of Roman society, from the people who own nothing to the 2 men who, for 1 year, ruled it all. This is your life at every level of the Roman Republic. Let's start at the bottom. You are a servus, a slave. In the Roman world, that most likely means you were captured in war or born to an enslaved mother. Slavery here is brutal and everywhere. In Augustan Italy, roughly 30% of the population is enslaved, and across the wider Roman world, about 1 in 5. Under Roman law, you are not a person, you are property, a talking tool. Your fate depends entirely on who owns you. If you are lucky, you work a noble house, cooking, serving, tutoring children. If you are not, you're sent to the fields, the galleys, or worst of all, the mines, where a slave's working life is often measured in months. But Rome offers something rare, a way out. You're allowed to keep a personal savings fund, your peculium. Save enough and you can buy your freedom. When your master frees you, manumission, you become a Libertus, a freedman, and a Roman citizen. Down here, hope is currency, and some slaves save their way to an entirely new life. Climb 1 rung, you are a plebeian, one of the plebs, the common people who make up the majority of Rome's free citizens. Most likely you're a farmer, working a small plot of land with your family. Your life is tied to the seasons and to the legion. To even begin a political career, a Roman man is expected to serve around 10 years in the army. You vote in the popular assembly, the comitia centuriata, but not equally. The centuries are weighted by wealth, so the richest citizens cast their votes first, and yours often doesn't matter at all. In wartime, you pay the tributum, a direct tax, while the wealthy dodge it through loopholes. It's a raw deal, and the plebs knew it. Twice in the early republic, the common people walked out of Rome entirely, the secession of the plebs, and refused to work or fight until they won their own champions. The tribunes of the plebs, with the power to veto the Senate itself. Your life is hard. You'll likely die near the soil you were born on. But together, the plebs are a force even senators fear. Now you're a libertus, a freedman. You were born a slave, but you saved your peculium, bought your freedom, and crossed the line from property to citizen. It's a second life, but not an equal one. Socially, the stain of your origin follows you. You become the client of your former master, now your patron, bound to support him, attend his morning greeting, and do his bidding. In return, he protects you, and there's money to be made. Freedmen dominate the trades that refined Romans consider slightly beneath them: commerce, money lending, artisan crafts, small manufacturing. You can grow rich, very rich, but the ladder has a ceiling. By tradition and law, freedmen are barred from the highest curule magistracies and from the Senate itself. Your children, born free, will face fewer limits, and your grandchildren fewer still. Rome is one of the few societies in history where, within 2 or 3 generations, the descendants of a slave can sit among the elite. But for you, the freedman, the top is shut. You'll die a wealthy citizen and never a senator. Step up to the Equites, the Equestrian order, Rome's wealthy business class. You're not noble, you don't sit in the Senate, but you're rich. To belong, you need free birth, a clean reputation, and serious wealth. By the late Republic, a property qualification of around 400,000 sesterces. The Equites are the engine of Roman commerce. You might be a publicanus, a tax farmer, bidding for the right to collect Rome's taxes in a province and keeping the profit. You might bankroll trade across the Mediterranean, supply grain to the city, or provision the legions on campaign. Rome's wars are, for men like you, business opportunities. You wear the narrow purple stripe on your tunic, the mark of the knight, and you're proud of it. Most equestrians stay out of politics, preferring profit to office. But if you want more, the door isn't locked. The same wealth that makes you an equus can launch you onto the cursus honorum, the course of honors, and into the Senate itself. You stand just below the governing class, close enough to see the summit and rich enough to climb toward it. Now you step on to the cursus honorum, the course of honors, Rome's sacred ladder of public office, and your first rung is Quaestor. To get here, you've already served around 10 years in the army, and you're at least 30. Elected by the people, you become a financial magistrate. Most quaestors serve as quaestores aerarii, guardians of the state treasury in the forum, auditing accounts, collecting taxes and tribute, and paying out public funds, including in wartime the wages of the legions. Some are sent to the provinces to handle the finances of a governor or a general. Here's the catch. The office is unpaid. Only a man with independent wealth can afford to hold it, which means Roman politics is, by design, a rich man's game. But the quaestorship carries one priceless reward. Since the dictator Sulla's reforms in 81 BCE, every man elected quaestor enters the Senate automatically. For life. This is the gate. Cross it, and you're no longer just a wealthy citizen. You're one of the 300. You're a senator. The next rung is Praetor. You've been quaestor. Now at the minimum age of 39, you're elected Praetor. And for the first time you hold imperium, the power to command armies and to enforce the law. The Praetor is the second highest magistrate in Rome, outranked only by the consuls. Your main duty is justice. As Praetor Urbanus, you preside over cases between Roman citizens. As Praetor Peregrinus, you handle disputes between citizens and foreigners. Each year you publish an edict, declaring which cases your court will hear and setting the legal rules, a tradition that quietly builds much of Roman law. But praetors don't just sit in court. Because they hold imperium, they can govern provinces and lead legions when the consuls are busy. Sulla raised their number to 8, and competition for the office is fierce. The praetorship is the great proving ground. Serve it well, command with honor, win the people's regard, and the way opens to the very top. Almost every consul has stood where you stand now, robed, imperious, and one step from the summit. Now you are a senator, one of roughly 300 men who form the permanent, governing council of Rome. The consuls change every year, the magistrates come and go, but the Senate endures. It meets in the Curia, and its authority is immense. It manages the treasury, directs foreign policy, receives ambassadors, assigns provinces to magistrates, and in practice decides matters of war and peace. Membership is for life. You were enrolled by the censors, drawn from former magistrates, and once inside, your auctoritas, your prestige and influence, can outweigh the power of any single consul. In theory, the Senate only advises. In practice, it rules. The Senate is dominated by the nobilitas, a tight circle of wealthy patrician and plebeian families who have held consulships across generations. They intermarry, they network, and they guard the top of the ladder fiercely. Yet it's not fully closed. A wealthy equestrian, a determined quaestor, a victorious general, any of them can climb in. You sit among Rome's elite, debating war and taxation beneath the eyes of your ancestors' masks. It's the most exclusive club in the Mediterranean. And you've earned your seat, the summit of the ladder. You are consul, one of only 2 elected each year. You're at least 42 years old, you've climbed every rung, and now you hold imperium at its highest. For 12 months, you and your fellow consul together command the Republic. You preside over the Senate, propose laws, and lead Rome's armies in the field. Before you march, 12 lictors walk ahead bearing the fasces, the bundled rods and axe that symbolize your power to punish and to execute. You sit on the sella curulus, the ivory chair of office. And because Rome fears kings, your power is checked. You serve only 1 year, you cannot succeed yourself, and each consul can veto the other's every decision. 2 men, equal power, mutual restraint. Since 367 BCE, at least one of you must be a plebeian, a concession won by the common people centuries ago. You're elected by the Comitia Centuriata, the people's army assembled as voters. When your year ends, you don't vanish. You return to the Senate as an elder statesman, your name recorded among Rome's consuls for eternity. So that's your life, at every level of the Roman Republic. A slave who saved for freedom, a pleb who won a veto, a knight who bought his way up, a consul who, for 1 year, held the world, over 4 million citizens, 300 senators, 2 consuls, 1 ladder, and 1,000 ways to climb it. If you want to live another life in another empire, next week, subscribe. I'll see you on the next rung.